is up, everybody? We are back with another Halo Flashpoint video, and today we are looking at the Feet First into Hell ODST box, my unofficial rules review. So this will be a look at the rules for the ODST box, and won't necessarily be focused on the physical items you get in the box, such as the actual models and the terrain and things like that. I'm just going to be looking at the rules and how they interact with what we currently have. So let's get to it. So first up, we have the overview for the box. So the ODST box is shipping late October 2025. It has the new ODSTs. It has 2 new legends, being Dare and Buck. It has new weapons and tokens, new game modes, new keywords, and more. Obviously, the set focuses on the ODSTs, which were notably included in the game Halo 3 ODST, which is a fan favorite. The Feet First into Hell box has 10 unique models, being number 1, the ODST Captain, number 2, the ODST Second Lieutenant, number 3, the ODST Air Assault Bulldog SMG, the number 4, ODST Air Assault Bulldog MA40, the number 5, ODST Firebreak Flamethrower, number 6, ODST Firebreak M90 Shotgun, number 7, ODST Special Trooper BR55, number 8, ODST Special Trooper DMR, then number 9, ODST Legend Gunnery Sergeant Buck himself, and then number 10, Oni Legend Captain Dare. So that is a total of 7 unique unit cards, which would be the ODST Captain, the ODST Second Lieutenant, the ODST Air Assault, the ODST Firebreak, the ODST Trooper, and then Buck and Dare. So the Feet First into Hell expansion launch price was launched at £100, which is the going rate for these big box expansions from Mantic. That at the moment is 205 Australian or 133 USD. As always, local pricing may be a bit cheaper, such as my local Phoenix Games at 167 Australian. Total model count is 18 models, being 16 of the basic models, 2 of each unit card, and then 2 of the limited edition Mastercraft resin, Legend Buck and Legend Dare. So similar to the Atriox model we got in the Rise of the Banished box, those models might be re-released at a later date, maybe in Mastercraft, maybe not in Mastercraft, but at the moment they are limited to this box exclusively. So here are the new unit cards for the ODSTs, and this will be the order we look at them as we go through. So we got the Captain, the Second Lieutenant, SMG Air Assault, MA40 Air Assault, Flamethrower Firebreak, M90 Shotgun Firebreak, the ODST Special Purpose Trooper with Battle Rifle, and the ODST Special Purpose Trooper with DMR. We also have Dare and Buck, but we're going to get to them after the basic troops. First up, the ODST Captain. So the stats are 4+ on ranged, 4+ on fight, 5+ on save or survive, meaning the model has above average stats compared to all the other models in the game. It has what I'm going to call ODST Standard Survivability, which is Survive 5+, Armor 1, HP 3, no energy shields. So pretty much all the ODST models have that exact same survivability, and that's what I'm going to call ODST Standard. That makes them fairly easy to kill. Good save rolls might keep them alive for a bit longer, but realistically they will die in 1 or maybe 2 good rounds of shooting. All the ODSTs range from speed 1 to 2 or speed 1 to 3. The Captain has 1 to 2, which makes them a bit slower. So the Captain is equipped with the brand new M6C SOCOM Magnum. I'm going to go through and look at all the new weapons later, so I'm just going to say that it has a Magnum. At 35 points, this Captain is currently the cheapest source of tactician in the game at 17.5 points per command dice, which is a pretty good offer. They have the best base stats amongst the ODSTs at ranged 4, fight 4, making them an okay choice for any weapon upgrades. The SOCOM is a short-range weapon, but it has optics, so it can do a bit of damage if you manage to get them in close. You might want to give them the upgrade just so they don't have to get in close. One thing to note is the Captain may not be included in the fire team with the Spartan model if the Spartan model has Tactician, but all the other ODSTs can be mixed and matched however you want. ODST Second Lieutenant. Stats 4+ ranged, 5+ fight, 5+ survive, meaning they have above average stats, just like the Captain. They actually have the exact same stats as the Captain. They also have the ODST Standard Survivability and are 1-2 speed, so are on the slow end. They are default equipped with the brand new MA5K Avenger Carbine, which, if you are a book person, was first introduced as a Spartan 3 assault rifle in the Ghost of Onyx book. They are the counterpart to the ODST Captain, being another source of cheap tactician for a UNSC list, and unlike the Captain, they can be included with any model you want. This model also comes with the Scout keyword, which has been reworked due to the October 2025 rules updates. I'll make a video about that in the future, but Scout is a slightly better keyword now. The MA5K is a shorter range than other ARs, being only range 3, but it now has weight of fire 3, unlike, say, the MA40, which has weight of fire 2, which should help alleviate, those misses for a low range stat model. Same as the Captain, they are a fairly good choice for weapon upgrades, and they only cost 28 points, so it shouldn't be too hard to find some points to scrounge up and give them a better weapon. We're now on to the ODST Air Assault Bullfrogs, SMG and MA40. Their point costs are 29 points for the SMG version and 26 points for the MA40 version. They have range 5+, fight 4+, survive 5+. ODST standard survivability as all the others. They have speed 1-3, so they are amongst the faster ODSTs. They are default equipped with either the new M7S SMG or the MA40, which is the same one as the Spartan Mark 7 has. This is the first use of the new acrobatics keyword for a model. So here's acrobatics. Whenever a model that has acrobatics kills an enemy model, you immediately gain +1 additional VP in a game mode where killing models matters. So that would be game modes like Slayer, Oddball. They have Jump Pack, which should help them move across the board, being that they can get over gaps and things like that. With the Air Assault's increased speed, they may often be the model that you want to push forward into your enemy's front line or to snatch away objectives at opportune times with good timing and good planning. Fight 4+ may make it worth taking a melee option for this model, such as a Mauler. They both come default equipped with a combat knife, which is worth noting. For the SMG versus the MA40, for 3 extra points, you do get optics, but you do lose out on rapid fire. So it does kind of come down to which one you think would be better. If you are going for a melee build air assault, you might want to take the rapid fire, so you can pin down models and then charge them for the +1 when a model is pinned. ODST Firebreak, Flamethrower, and M90. So they are 29 points and 30 points respectively. They have range 4+, fight 5+, survive 5+. Meaning they have ODST standard survivability and their speed 1-3, so they are also the faster ODSTs. They are default equipped with either the brand new M7057 Flamethrower or M90 Shotgun. Both of them have no inbuilt keywords. Along with the Air Assault, their increased speed may make them one of the choices you use for getting up close and personal with the enemy, especially since both of them have default short-ranged weapons. They both come equipped with the new M168 Demo Charge, which I will go through in a bit, but needless to say, they are fairly potent, but single-use melee weapons. The M90 is essentially just a worse version of an M45, but is in a vacuum, a pretty decent default weapon. The M7057 Flamethrower can be a pretty potent weapon in certain situations, especially since it's capable of hitting multiple enemies, since it will target cubes instead of models. But I'll go through how that actually works later on when I go through the weapons. I will say that the demo charge does seem a bit wasted on the ODST Firebreak, since they only have 5 up fight stats. You got a pretty good weapon that you can only use one time, and then you can't use it anymore. And so you'd probably want to use something like that on a model that has better fight stat. ODST Special Purpose Trooper, BR55 and DMR. The stats, ranged 4+, fight 5+, survive 5+, meaning they have average stats. The ODST standard survivability, and they have speed 1-2, so they are on the slower end for ODSTs. They're default equipped with the DMR or the new BR55. Both come with the Scout keyword, which may work nicely with their optics weapons whenever they respawn. At 23 points, the DMR Trooper is the current cheapest model in the game, and may prove to be the backbone of any Horde-style list you might make for the UNSC. They have decent shoot stats, combined with decent weapons, making them pretty good all-rounders, capable of hanging back for key kills, or maybe you want to move them up to secure objectives, and because they're so cheap, you don't really care too much about them dying. I will say the BR55 is essentially just a worse version of the BR75. Once again, just in a vacuum, it is a fairly decent starting weapon for a model, being AP1, optics, weight of fire. I think another thing you may additionally consider is one Spartan Deadeye costs 48 points with the DMR, whereas you could take 2 DMR ODSTs at 46 points. So for one worst range, being range 4, you potentially get more use out of the 2 ODST troopers. We're now onto new ODST Special Order Hot Drop. So this is exclusive to ODSTs, so no other models may use them. It currently costs 7 points. I've got the whole thing written there, but I'll just go through it briefly. So during either first round or when a model respawns, you may spend a special order dice. If you do, the model is moved into orbit, ready to drop. Choose a cube with no models, then roll a 3 dice range test, 2. The 2 indicates 2 successes are acquired, as always. If successful, set up your model anywhere in the chosen cube, but it must always be on the highest level if the cube has multiple levels. On a fail, instead, roll scatter and place your model in the indicated cube, pinned, and following normal rules for scatter. For any subsequent actions that round, the model is counted as having already made an auxiliary action, and so could only make one more action, such as 1 advance or 1 shoot. So there are lots of potential shenanigans with this special order, especially if you have grapple/thruster pack equipped ODSTs. You could potentially drop an ODST onto the flag turn 1, then using a grapple plus a thruster, move the flag straight to a capture point, or at least very close to 1, because you could potentially move up to 3 at that point, being 1 with the thruster pack, and then 1 with the grapple. And then at that point, you honestly kind of hope the ODST dies, and then you can just respawn and do it again. Additionally, there is another new UNSC special order, being Supply Drop. So this is available to all UNSC models, not just ODSTs. This costs 3 points. So this kind of fills out the cheap option for a UNSC list, being that it is available to everyone. All UNSC models Supply Drop. At the start of any round after rolling command dice, you may spend 1 special order. If you do, you may take an unused item from the supply, so that is items that aren't on the board, and place it in any cube that has no models. So this would potentially be best used on somewhere where you could pick it up, such as your respawn or your backline, where you have models that could easily pick it up just on their way somewhere. And this might be a better way to get items than actually paying for them, because you could pay for 1 Hardlight Shield for having much a Hardlight Shield costs, or you could play roulette and potentially get one for much cheaper and recurable, so you get multiple Hardlight Shields instead of just 1 Hardlight Shield, if you're lucky enough. Feet First Into Hell ODST Roundup. Fan favorite addition to the game, the ODSTs really start to open up team building options for the game, especially for the big team battle 400 point game modes, where you could potentially run up to 14, just span them out. Models are seemingly a head shorter on average than a Spartan, which I would probably put them around 36 to 40 mil, which I believe, if you're talking true scale, would make them a tad taller than they should realistically be compared to a Spartan. But, you got to take some artistic liberties sometimes. They all round cheaper than Spartans, but still have decent stats, although they trade this off with much worse survivability. We're now onto the man, the myth, the legend himself, Gunnery Sergeant Edward Buck, ODST legend. So, the history. ODST Buck was first seen in Halo 3 ODST as one of the playable characters. He is voiced by Nathan Fillion, who also did voices for some other Marines in Halo 3. So, Buck's lore. Though too young to enlist at the start of the conflict, Buck was a 25-year veteran of the Human Covenant War, a feat not matched by many troopers to have fought the aliens in the dirt. By 2552, he was leader of Fire Team Alpha 9, and a key figure during the Battle of New Mombasa. He also goes on to do a bunch of other stuff. This variant of Buck is just the ODST version. The stats. Ranged 3+, fight 4+, save 4+, so he has above average or good stats. He has better than the standard ODST survivability, being that he has survive 4, but he still has the AP 1, HP 3, and he still has speed 1, 2, so he is amongst the slower ODSTs. He is default equipped with the currently unique weapons MA5D and M6H2 Magnums, so they aren't featured anywhere else, nor are they purchasable. He has the keywords Scout and Tactician 1, but he also has the great keyword Fast Transition. Unlike the other legends we've seen so far, Buck does not have access to a unique special order, like Chief's one-man army. Having access to 2 weapons as well as fast transition from the outset means you may not need to upgrade Buck to have him punch through enemy defenses. He can make use of his assault rifle and his magnum straight at the bat using the fast transition, But if you want to, you can still upgrade him with better weapons if you want to. His survivability means he will generally die faster than most Spartans, but that shouldn't stop you getting him into the thick of firefights. With no unique special order to worry about, he can easily fit into a Spartan list if you wanted one more great shooting model. Plus, he has Tactician, and for the same cost as a Deadeye, you may consider switching him for one of them. Captain Veronica Dare, Oni Legend. So she costs 40 points, and one thing to note about Veronica Dare is she is a Oni Legend, not an ODST Legend, and that means she cannot make use of the Hot Drop unique order that the ODSTs have. History, she is first seen in Halo 3 ODST as another key character. Lore, much of Veronica Dare's career is shrouded in Oni black tape, but there is a proven field operative and operations commander. Instrumental in many operations you will never know about. The stats, ranged 4+, fight 6+, survive 5+. So she has mixed stats, some good, some bad. She has the ODST standard survivability at save 5+, armor 1, HP 3. She has speed 1-2, which has her slow for an ODST, or should I say slow for an Oni Legend, since she isn't an ODST. She is default equipped with the new M6C SOCOM, which is the same one the captain has. She has the keyword Tactician 2, and she has the first use of the stealthy keyword, which may keep her alive slightly longer than usual. She also has the unique special order, Your Orders Have Changed. So here's Stealthy and Your Orders Have Changed. Stealthy. So basically when an opponent gets a clear shot on you, they only get 1 extra dice instead of 2. And then Your Orders Have Changed for 6 points. At the start of a round, after command dice are rolled, you may spend a special order to change 2 other command dice to a face of your choice. So this can be fantastic in lists where you want to maximize command dice, and you just really need to get that 1 dice for a key shot or a key melee or whatever it happens to be. So Veronica Dare has good shoot stat, but her main utility may be her special order in conjunction with command dice lists such as list with Master Chief. Being able to manipulate and choose dice as needed can greatly improve the reliability of said lists and can still be helpful, even when not maximizing command dice. She is fairly fragile for her cost, so keeping her in the back line or protected with active camo until you need her may be your best bet. And so how do the UNC units stack up against the rest of the units we've seen so far? So we've got my table here again. So this is all stats averaged across all the forces. This does not include legends, and this has been updated for the October 2025 balance update. So on the far left, we have Banished Brutes, who have currently 5 unique unit cards, but their total unit count is 8 because of the double ups. Banished Elites, they only have 1 unique card. They have 4 units because they've got 1 with the sword, 1 with the needler, and so on. UNSC Spartans currently have 8 unique unit cards, but a total unit count of 16. And UNSC ODSTs currently have 5 unique cards, but a total unit count of 8. Most of the list is exact same, but I will say for points, the Banished Brutes have gone down about 2 points or 1 point, depending on how you round up. So they're down from 42.25 averaged to 40.87, which rounded up is 41 points across the board for the Banished Brutes. The Elites have gone down from 45.5 to 43.25. Meaning that is on average about 2 points reduction for elites. The UNSC Spartans have gone only slightly down from 42.37 to 42.18, so they've pretty much remained unchanged. But now onto the main thing we're all here for, the UNSC ODSTs. So they are on average 28.12 points, which is 28 rounded, meaning they are much cheaper than pretty much every other unit. They have, on average, a 4.125 shoot stat, which actually makes them, on average, better than Spartans. They have a average 4.5 fight stat, rounded is 5, so they have the exact same fight stat as a Spartan. They have the exact same save stat as a Spartan on 5+. They are, on average, amongst the slowest models in the game, being about the same speed as the Brutes. But this is where they start to fall down, where they have no energy shields, no armor, and only 3 HP. So the ODCs end up being as good as Spartans in both shooting and fighting, but much worse in survivability due to no energy shields, low armor, and low health. Their cheaper costs will make them great for objective control game modes like Strongholds, but their survivability will make them a liability in game modes like Slayer. Combining the strengths of both the ODSTs and Spartans may be the key to some great lists. But what else has been added in the Feet First Into Hell expansion? There are 13 new weapons, some are purchasable and some aren't. There are 3 new items/grenades. There's 1 new rule, 1 new command upgrade, 3 new scenarios, and 2 new keywords. The new weapons. So here's the weapon rundown. So we got the BR55 at 10 points, the M6C at 7 points, the M7057 flamethrower at 8 points, M7S SMG at 9 points, the M90 shotgun at 9 points, the MA5K at 5 points, the command knife for 2 points, and the demo charge at 12 points. I'll just go through some quick points. So the BR55 costs the same amount as a BR75, but has no rapid fire. So generally an okay weapon, but considering that, it is a bit overcosted since they both cost 10 points, but it is a worse version of the BR75. The M6C SOCOM at 7 points. So optics is at a premium, so if you need to include it, this is one of the cheaper options, but it only has medium range and no thrills, being no AP, no ESD, and nothing like that. The M7057 flamethrower. This is able to attack cubes and do damage to multiple units at once, as well as deactivate their shields. It has very short range, but may prove lethal. I think this is one of the weapons that are going to need some playtesting to actually see how well it performs. The M7S SMG for 9 points. So this is basically a 2-point upgrade over the M6C SOCOM, being that this one has Weight of Fire 2, and the M6C does not, meaning the SMG can be a good boon for models that have poor range stats, since the Weight of Fire allows you to reroll and potentially get more hits out of your misses. The M90 shotgun is pretty much in the same boat as the BR55, being that the M45 shotgun is better and costs 1 point less. But I guess if you really needed an extra shotgun, you could take this one. The MA5K Avenger Carbine. It's a cheaper AR than the MA40, but sacrifices 1 range for 1 extra weight of fire. You have the ODST combat knife. This is just their default knife, obviously worse than a Spartan's knife, but also costs 1 less. Most of the time you're not going to take it, because you generally don't want to be using your ODSTs in melee. M168 Demo Charge. So something to note about this is it does not have the frag or implosion keyword, so it will do no damage to the model using it, so you don't have to worry about potentially blowing up your own units. It does have the MP keyword though, so if you've got models with shields, it will turn off your own shields. But it has got close combat, it has got AP2, it has got blast, EMP, lethal 1, and 1 use. It's better to think of it more like a shaped charge that you slap onto an enemy instead of a big explosive. This is a close combat option with versatile stats. However, at 12 points and being only single use, it may just end up being too expensive to ever actually use it, especially considering for 2 extra points you get an energy sword, which can be used multiple times and arguably is better all around. So new weapons not purchasable. So I actually can't confirm whether or not these are or are not purchasable. I'm pretty sure they're not. Maybe they might update it in the future, and then they might be. But at the moment, I don't think they are purchasable. So these are the new turret weapons, which make use of the new turret weapon key rules, and we also have Buck's unique weapons. So first up, we have the M247 machine gun, which has range 5, AP 1, firing platform 1, support weapon, suppression, weight of fire 2. So this is the first use of the firing platform, as well as its support weapon keywords. It seems like a fairly strong weapon with suppression able to pin targets reliably. Before we go on, we'll talk about the firing platform and support weapon. So for firing platform, you just gain additional dice whenever you take a shoot action. And for support weapon, when holding a weapon with this keyword, you may only ever move 1 cube, you may not throw grenades, and you can never make a fight test. It is a fairly substantial penalty for using the weapon, but may be useful to move and pick it up for a single shoot action, then drop it and move on. Additionally, we'll talk about the new turreted weapons rule here. So basically, for turret weapons, when doing board setup, both players may agree to use a turret weapon instead of a normal weapon drop system. If they do, they place a turret weapon where a weapon drop marker is, and the weapon drop marker is always considered to be occupied by the turret weapon, and therefore cannot gain any more weapons using the normal system. If the turret weapon is dropped for any reason, it will return back to the drop marker it was occupying, but is otherwise treated like any other weapon drops. So we are then onto the missile pod, which has range 5, AP 2, blast, lethal 2, and support weapon. So the missile pod has no indirect, being a grenade and explosive, which seems a bit odd for a weapon that is designed as a sort of mortar stopgap, being that it can literally shoot out of line of sight. I think it will suffer against shielded targets, but once it punches through the shields, it should do effective damage with its AP 2 and lethal 2. The plasma cannon. Range 4, armor 1, ESD 1, firing platform 1, support weapon, and weight of fire 1. So trading 1 weight of fire for ESD and 1 less range, I think due to the limiting of the movement that the support weapon gives you. I generally want the M247 instead of the plasma cannon, just because I'd rather the weight of fire and the increased range. The scrap cannon has range 4, AP 0, firing platform 3, knockback, and support weapon. So knockback is always a decent keyword to have, and firing platform 3 will have you rolling a minimum of 6 dice during a shoot test, but you'll generally need every single dice because you have no AR or any other tricks, say such as ESD, so it would end up being actually fairly hard to punch through, say, a fully shielded Spartan. We also have the Buck's unique weapons at the bottom right. They are rebalanced versions of the existing Magnum and MA5D, and are a bit weaker overall. We are then onto the new items, being the repair field. At the end of a round, any model in the same cube as the repair field will heal 1 wound. However, A, there is no limit to the number of items you can have in a cube. B, this item can be purchased. So presumably a model can deploy this, die, deploy another one, die, and so on until you may be able to heal up to 5 wounds or more per model in a cube. So you essentially set up like a backline healing station. I'm also a bit foggy if a deployed item is also counted as a item for cube capacity requirements. A second new item has been revealed in the Errata/October update, being the Intel item, or Intel token. So Intel grants +1 VP when found. Doesn't matter game mode, doesn't matter what you're doing, just 1 more VP. So it says that you may agree to use it, but I think it might be better just to have it shuffled into any of your tokens that you use, and then find it randomly as a nice bonus during a game you play. We have a new command upgrade, being Advanced Reconnaissance. So if you take this for 5 points, on a 4+, it counts as a success on the recon table. However, most people don't tend to use the recon table, so I don't really see this being used that much. We have new keywords. These are pretty much used only for the M7057 flamethrower. That is Incendiary and Fire. So Incendiary, introduced for the flamethrower. This acts similar to a grenade or an explosive attack. You first target a cube containing enemy models. Roll your shoot test using the number indicated. Whatever the result, all models must then make a save test against that number of dice and take the damage as normal. In addition, the model gains a fire token. So fire tokens give a model the fire keyword. A model may use a short action to extinguish the fire and remove the token. If they don't, at the end of the round, they may take 1 damage and then remove the token. But I think it is a bit unclear at the moment if A, models may have multiple fire tokens, B, if they do have multiple tokens, are they required to take multiple actions to extinguish them? And then C, if they don't extinguish them, are they going to take multiple damage for the number of fire tokens they have? So if you have 3 fire tokens, are you going to take 3 damage? We also got 3 new game modes. So I'm not actually going to go through the whole game mode. You're going to have to buy the book or buy the app yourself, but I will go through them in a general sense. 3 new game modes, being 1 normal one and 2 for big team battle or elimination. First up, Assault. You must move your bomb into the enemy's deployment zone. Bomb carriers close to friendly models gain the Fearless keyword and therefore can't be pinned. Once in the deployment zone of your enemy, for 3 activations, the bomb detonates, and then the first 3 detonations wins. We then have Assault Elimination, which is essentially a big team battle version of the normal Assault, and is played pretty much the same, except it is the first to 1 detonation instead of 3. We are then onto Stronghold's Elimination, which is a big team battle version of Stronghold, which is pretty much played the same as normal Stronghold, except it is the person that has the most points at round 3 that wins, instead of playing to a certain point cap or a certain round cap. Finally, we're onto the Feet First into Hell Roundup. So fan favorite ODSTs were a great choice for the game's next big expansion. Mantic have said they may focus on smaller boxes for a while, so it was great to go out with a bang with the Feet First into Hell box. The ODSTs are an easy inclusion in the game, and with some fantastic looking terrain. It'd be cool to see how the meta evolves around their inclusion and how players handle the larger model counts. Some quick thoughts. The ODSTs are very much a glass cannon. They can hit as hard as the Spartans, although they may require weapon upgrades, but are nowhere near as survivable. Knowing when to sacrifice them for advantage may be crucial to using them effectively. The DMR Trooper at 23 points is my hands down favorite model. The deadliest weapon is a Marine and their rifle. What's next for the channel? So I think I'll go through and build a few new lists using the ODSTs. I am gonna do an overview of the new October rules changes once that's all finalized. I'm going to have... I actually have a backlog of unboxings I gotta do. I've got like 4 things I gotta open. And I also got an ODST paint guide, which I've been training for. I think you're gonna like it. But with that, that is the end of my video. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If there's anything you think I missed or anything you disagreed with, make sure you leave a comment so we can talk about it. If you'd like to see more of my content, make sure to like and subscribe because I really appreciate it. And I will call it here. So I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.